Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. The Allahabad High Court has granted permission to the Archaeological Survey of India to go ahead with the survey of the Gyanvapi complex in Varanasi. The court had earlier also said that the survey should not excavate or cause any damage to the property in any form or fashion. The Muslim side, in a desperate bid, has rushed to the Supreme Court, which has now listed the matter for hearing tomorrow. The basic question that's being asked is, why block a survey? Why block a mapping exercise to find out how old this structure is and whether it was built on the remains of a temple? What other way, what other scientific way is there to settle this issue once and for all? And what the Hindu side is asking is, why block prayers, daily prayers that used to happen in this complex up until 1993? The Muslim side, on the other hand, is saying that in 1992, after the demolition of the Babri Masjid, a law was passed in Parliament, the Places of Worship Act, which was to explicitly bar other claims from coming into the public domain, other disputed claims coming into the public domain, like Babri Masjid did. So, why use the ASI and use the pretext of this survey to try and bring back those old and buried questions? That is what the Muslim side is asking. Where does the truth lie? But first, the story of the day so far.
चीफ जस्टिस साहब ने ये कहा है कि एएसआई ने एफिडेविट फाइल किया है, उस एफिडेविट के कंप्लायंस में सर्वे किया जाए। साथ ही साथ उन्होंने कहा कि जब एएसआई ने एफिडेविट दिया है तो कोई मतलब नहीं है उसको डाउट करने का।
उच्च न्यायालय के आदेश का हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि एएसआई की सर्वे के माध्यम से सच्चाई बाहर आएगी।
All right, on the talking point, it's an extended debate tonight here on Brass Tacks. Maulana Khalid Firangi Mehli is a senior and leading Muslim scholar. He's now joining us. Subhash Nandan Chaturvedi is one of the lawyers of the Hindu side in this matter. Taslim Ahmed Rahmani, president of the Muslim Political Council of India. Shahid Ali is president of the United Muslims Front. Sadhvi Jaya Bharti will be joining us, a renowned Hindu scholar. And Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, will also be joining us. Let me start with Maulana Khalid Firangi Mehli. ये बताइए कि आज का जो निर्णय आया इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने ये इंश्योर किया है कि सर्वे कोई डैमेजिंग नहीं होना चाहिए, कोई एक्सकवेटरी नहीं होना चाहिए, तो फिर भी मुस्लिम साइड को, मुस्लिम पक्ष को क्या आपत्ति है?
देखिए, वाराणसी कोर्ट ने ये एएसआई का ऑर्डर किया था सर्वे का, जिसके खिलाफ मुस्लिम साइड सुप्रीम कोर्ट गई। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 26 जुलाई तक उस पर रोक लगाते हुए मुस्लिम साइड को इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट से रुजू करने को कहा। आज इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने एएसआई का सर्वे का ऑर्डर दिया है, जिसमें कि ये एक अच्छी बात है कि कोर्ट ने ये कहा है कि किसी भी किस्म की बिल्डिंग को डैमेज या किसी किस्म की खुदाई नहीं होनी चाहिए। अब जाहिर सी बात है, क्योंकि मुस्लिम साइड ऑलरेडी पहले से एएसआई के सर्वे के अगेंस्ट था, तो इस वजह से, क्योंकि ये मस्जिद आज की बनी हुई नहीं है, 600 साल पुरानी मस्जिद है, तो लिहाजा अब इस सिलसिले में लीगल कमेटी ये तय करेगी कि हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएं इस ऑर्डर के अगेंस्ट में कि ना जाएं।
नहीं, वो तो तय हो गया सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे। आपने आके सुप्रीम कोर्ट के दरवाजे पे खटखटाया भी है। वो लोग, सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो है वो कल सुनेगी आपकी जो मैटर है। लेकिन तस्लीम अहमद रहमानी, आई एम कमिंग बैक टू दैट क्वेश्चन. What other way, what other scientific way is there to establish what was this structure, how old is this structure, and whether this was built over some other structure? I mean, please explain to our viewers why there is such, grave sort of offense that's been taken by the Muslim side to a survey which the court has explicitly said has to be non-excavatory, has to be non-damaging to the property itself, and the critical part, which is the Wuzukhana area, the court has said that you have to exclude that area. So then what is the problem?
See, I am not taking this case or any other case like this in one particular or specific case. This is a phenomena, and this is a political phenomena with the aiming with the vindictive politics. You know, since 1984 onwards, we are looking at this politics, and we have seen that the BJP could grab power at the center and at various states through this masjid and Hindu-Muslim kind of venomous and malicious perceptions and narratives. And now to continue in power, they need such issues. They cannot talk on economy, they cannot talk on the national issues, they cannot talk on the women vulnerability.
No, but Ramani Saab, these are political arguments. I'll come to the political arguments. I just want to stick to, just give me 10 seconds. I just want to stick to what happened in court today. What the court, sir, please hear me out. The court has very clearly said, I want to stick to the legal issue. I want to stick to the legal issue right now. The court has clearly said that the issue of a commission of survey is permissible.
Do you have
the court has said that it is justified in ordering a survey by the Archaeological Survey of India. A scientific survey is necessary in the interests of justice. These are the court's words. These are not my words. Now, please explain why we shouldn't accept a judgment by a high court of this country.
You see, we have accepted the Supreme Court verdict in Babri Masjid case, although on merits it was not a case where the title of the mosque should be given to a mandir. It was not a case like that. But whatever the Supreme Court has opined, we have accepted that verdict. So if VHP has a claim over 300 mosques in the country, so even if they go in bulk with a bunch of the cases on all these 3,000 mosques, and they want an excavation of all those mosques, how can we object? Because they are the mighty rulers.
Let Anila Singh respond to that. Anila Singh,
they are the new.
You know, it started with Babri Masjid. That time you had the slogan, Abhi Kashi Mathura Baki hai. Now, please tell me, you know, the Muslim side is saying, and this is a matter of known record, the VHP had been circulating papers to this effect that there are 300 mosques across the country which they want to excavate because it was built on top of temples. Now, where will the country go if you're going to go around and excavate every mosque in every neighborhood, every state, saying that it was built on top of the remains of a temple? It is to stop precisely this and to protect the social fabric of this country that Parliament of India passed the Places of Worship Act.
My Ram to all. षड्यंत्र करने वाले को ये जान लेना चाहिए कि महाभारत भी इस धरती पे हुई थी और षड्यंत्र करने वालों का अंजाम बहुत बुरा होता है। षड्यंत्र रचा गया हिंदुओं के साथ, या मैं कहूं सनातनियों के साथ, कुछ भी कह लीजिए, भारतवर्ष की धरती पर ही षड्यंत्र हुआ। और षड्यंत्रकारी कौन थे? इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस के लोग थे। 1947 में 1947 दिस कंट्री वाज स्प्लिटेड because of what? Because of religion only. On the basis of religion, this country was splitted. One country became Islamic Republic of Pakistan, and we got Hindustan, a stan jahan Hindu rehte hain. And there was no word like secular in our constitution at that time. It was inducted later on. One more conspiracy. So many conspiracies have been hatched by Indian National Congress against Hindus. So 1991
नहीं अनिला जी, लेकिन इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस के खिलाफ जो भी आपका आरोप है, नो अनिला जी गिव मी 10 सेकंड, नहीं 10 सेकंड, इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस के खिलाफ आप कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं, आप आपके पॉलिटिकल ओपोनेंट्स हैं, उनको डिफेंड करने के लिए उनके प्रतिनिधि शो पे नहीं है, बट यू नो उसके जो पूरा जो आरोप है, why are you taking that out on the Muslim community? That's what they are asking. कि अगर आप हर मस्जिद, हर कोने में जो मस्जिद है वहां पे जाके आप कहेंगे कि खुदाई हो जाए कि ताकि ये देखा जाए कि ये मंदिर के ऊपर बनाया गया कि नहीं, then where are we headed as a country? That is what is being asked by the Muslim side.
If Congress party representative is not sharing your panel, this proves my point very well. If any of the representative from this fake coalition, INDIA, is not representing on your panel, then it again strengthens my claim that yes, conspiracy has happened, is happening, and we have to destroy that conspiracy. But I have got strong faith when I say Bharatiya Janata Party has got strong faith in the legal and judicial system of our country. We thoroughly believe in our
Commission is very clear in its report that it was the BJP and its leader.
Mr. Rahmani,
Rahmani Sahab, one at a time, please. Rahmani Sahab, one at a time. एक करके, please. Let Anila ji finish.
Interject you
yes,
to allow
yes,
me. Let me complete my statement. Bharatiya Janata Party strongly believes in legal, constitutional, and judicial system of this great country, and I am I really trust them, and I have got faith that when the survey reports will come, they will very well pronounce a statement which is ethically.
Okay, Shahid Ali, you know, today what the court has also said is there is no substance, that scientific investigation cannot be ordered. With the help of new technology, scientific investigation can be made. And the arguments put forth by the Muslim side, number one, that excavation will destroy the structure, the court has rejected that. It has explicitly told the ASI, you cannot create any kind of damage to the structure. You also said that the Wazukhana area will be damaged. Again, the court has explicitly said that particular area, the Wazukhana area, cannot be surveyed. You survey the other parts. Now, the point is, every argument put forth by the Muslim side has been rejected by a court of law. And again, I come back to that question, how else will you find out, other than a survey by the experts who are the Archaeological Survey of India, to find out, you know, what is the antecedents of this structure?
So why there should be survey?
How else will you
Court
find?
is not the final court of India. Allahabad High Court is not the final court of India. There is yet another court that is called Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court. And there are the laws, procedural as well as substantive. Those laws confers rights upon all litigants to exhaust all legal remedies available to them. Now the Masjid side has also a legal remedy available to them to approach the Honorable Supreme Court. And why I will tell you. 1 year ago, the order was passed by District Court for conducting scientific survey. That was stayed by Honorable Allahabad High Court. And that still is in vogue. That has not been set aside so far. So I am really surprised. That how and in what manner such an order could have been passed by the Honorable Court. An order has been passed. That is liable to be challenged, and that will be challenged. So whatever would be the final outcome of Honorable Supreme Court will be respected by all, because we all believes in rule of law. India is a country governed by the rule of law.
Sir, you are well aware of the fact that it is the Supreme Court of India that directed the petitioners to approach the Allahabad High Court. The Allahabad High Court, over a period of, I think, over a week, heard both sides.
That is the proper course of action,
It gave a stay, I think, on one or two occasions. On one or two occasions, it gave a stay. And now, finally, it's come out with an order where it has said that it also says that you have to complete this survey expeditiously. So it could happen in 3 days or 4 days or so.
I think you are not following what the rule of law is, or what the law is, what the procedural and statutory laws are. The Honorable Supreme Court has directed, because the Honorable Supreme Court could not heard the matter directly. So therefore the Honorable Supreme Court had directed the petitioners, or directed the Masjid side, to approach the Honorable High Court of Allahabad first. Only thereafter the Honorable Supreme Court could have intervened.
Yeah.
And now therefore the Honorable Supreme Court is being approached. So there is
Okay.
no problem in that.
No, there's no problem.
Why the other
Absolutely.
side is objecting to that?
No.
Why?
You have all
Absolutely.
legal remedies.
Why the other side is
absolutely.
objecting
No,
to that?
absolutely.
Why this?
Absolutely.
Why this argument is put
exhaust
forth?
all legal
Why this
remedies
argument
you
is
have.
put forth कि भैया इसमें
At the
परेशानी
same
क्या
time,
सर्वे हो
at
जाने
the
दीजिए?
same time,
Why this argument
you
is put
should,
forth?
whatever the decision of the Supreme Court of India, Shahid Ali Saab, you should accept it. That is something that we can all agree on. Now, once again, let me ask Mr. Subhash Nandan Chaturvedi.
Everybody should.
एक सेकंड सर,
whether the judgment is
सवाल
passed in
पूछने
favor or against, that
दीजिए
is
प्लीज,
immaterial.
सवाल पूछने दीजिए। चतुर्वेदी साहब, ये बताइए कि जो पहली याचिका थी, जो 5 महिलाएं कोर्ट की दरवाजा खटखड़ाएं, उनका प्ली सिर्फ यही था कि जैसे 1993 के पहले वहां रोज पूजा और प्रार्थना होती थी, ऐसे ही उनको अलाउ किया जाए। उनके पहले जो प्ली था उसमें कोई खुदाई की बात नहीं हुई, कोई सर्वे की बात नहीं हुई। तो ये सर्वे में मुस्लिम समुदाय, मुस्लिम पक्ष का जो सस्पिशन है, उनकी आशंका ये है कि खुदाई और सर्वे आप इसलिए करवा रहे हैं क्योंकि जैसे बाबरी मस्जिद की जो इशू आपने 25-30 साल पॉलिटिकली उसका फायदा उठाया, इसको भी ऐसे ही कर रहे हैं। ये जो पहला प्ली जो था कि प्रार्थना करने के लिए उनको अनुमति दी जाए, उससे मतलब काफी आगे बढ़ चुकी है मामला अब।
देखिए, मैं आपको बता दूं, ये जो हमारा वाद श्रृंगार गौरी की जिसकी बात आप कर रहे हैं, पूजन की और राग भोग का, तो आप ये समझ लीजिए ये पूजा का अधिकार जो बंद कर दिया गया वो हमें कैसे मिलेगा? जब तक कि वो मंदिर, वो परिसर हमें नहीं मिलेगा, पूजा का अधिकार हमें नहीं मिलेगा। इसलिए हमने कहा कि सर्वे करिए, पहले उस परिसर के नेचर को बताइए। आप माननीय कोर्ट से हमने कहा कि नेचर पहले तय करिए कि मंदिर है कि मस्जिद है। बिना मंदिर, उस परिसर को मंदिर घोषित किए, उसके नेचर को बताए कि ये मंदिर है, बिना उसके आपको पूजा का और राग भोग का अधिकार नहीं मिलेगा। आप किसी मस्जिद में जो कथित मस्जिद है आपका, जो वर्तमान में आप कहते हैं कि मस्जिद हमारा है, उस मस्जिद में क्या श्रृंगार गौरी की पूजा होगी? हमारी मां श्रृंगार गौरी जो उस गर्भगृह में, जो सेंट्रल डोम के नीचे जो तहखाने हैं जहां बंद हैं अभी, वहां हमें पहुंचने तो दीजिए। श्रृंगार गौरी कहां है? जो पूजा होती थी वो हमारी श्रृंगार गौरी गई कहां? हमने इसीलिए साक्ष्य की बात किया था कि सर्वे करके हमारे श्रृंगार गौरी, हमारे तमाम जो इनविजुअल विजुअल दृश्य अदृश्य जो हमारे तमाम देवता हैं।
नहीं, लेकिन चतुर्वेदी साहब, कोर्ट ने तो सख्त मना कर दिया कि वजूखाना एरिया जो है वहां पे सर्वे नहीं होगी। तो आप कैसे एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे कि ये क्या स्ट्रक्चर थी, उसका प्रेमिसेस का कैरेक्टर या नेचर क्या था, ये कैसे एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे?
नहीं, मैं बता रहा हूँ, वजू खाना जो मामला सुप्रीम कोर्ट में सील्ड है, जो एरिया है वो सेंट्रल सुप्रीम कोर्ट में अभी वो पेंडिंग चल रहा है
जी।
लेकिन उसके बाद जो परिसर है, तमाम तहखाने जो है, हमारे जो वेस्टर्न वॉल है जहां जिसके नीचे मलबे भरे पड़े हैं, उसके नीचे हमारे तमाम इन विजुअल देवी देवता और मां श्रृंगार गौरी स्वयं वहां पड़ी हैं। ये जो बाहर आप देखा रहे हैं, जिसकी जो भ्रम फैलाया जाता है कि मां श्रृंगार गौरी ये बाहर हैं, वो प्रतीक स्वरूप वहां होता था। असली हमारी जो श्रृंगार गौरी हैं वो उस तहखाने के अंदर सेंट्रल डोम के नीचे हैं। तो हमने कहा कि सर्वे करके आप पहले ये पता तो लगाइए कि मां श्रृंगार गौरी कहाँ है। जब तक वो श्रृंगार गौरी नेचर और कैरेक्टर नहीं आएगा, तब तक हमें वो पूजा का अधिकार नहीं मिलेगा।
फिरंगी मैली साहब, ये बताइए कि अगर आप कह रहे हैं कि ये आस्था का मामला है, ये मस्जिद था और मस्जिद ही रहेगा, तो आस्था का मामला तो तथ्य के ऊपर होना चाहिए और ये जरूरी है कि पूरे पब्लिक तथ्य क्या है ये जाने, और तथ्य जानने के लिए और कोई रास्ता ही नहीं है। आप कैसे कम्युनिटी को समझाएंगे कि सर्वे की जाए ताकि फैक्ट्स जो हैं, तथ्य जो हैं, वो पब्लिक डोमेन में आए? इससे आप कैसे कह सकते हैं कि ये कम्युनिटी को टारगेट किया जा रहा है?
देखिए, फैक्ट भी यही है, हिस्टोरिकल फैक्ट भी यही है कि आज से 600 साल पहले ये मस्जिद तामीर हुई और पिछले 600 सालों से मुसलसल मस्जिद में अजान भी हो रही है, नमाज भी हो रही है और आज भी हो रही है। और फिर जो सबसे अहम बात है वो ये कि अपने यहाँ जो इस्लामिक लॉ है इस सिलसिले में वो बहुत ही क्लियर है कि किसी की दूसरे की इबादत को गिरा करके या किसी भी दूसरे की ज़मीन पर मस्जिद हरगिज़ तामीर नहीं कराई जा सकती, सिर्फ अपनी ज़मीन या किसी की डोनेट की हुई ज़मीन पर ही मस्जिद तामीर कराई जा सकती है। इसलिए बार बार इस किस्म की जो कंट्रोवर्सीज़ खड़ी होती हैं उन पर रोक रखना चाहिए। बहरहाल इस मस्जिद के सिलसिले में मुख्तलिफ अदालतों में ऑलरेडी कई केसेस चल रहे हैं, तो हम सबको फाइनल जजमेंट का इंतज़ार करना चाहिए।
साध्वी जया भारती, इन 1993 यानी कि मतलब बाबरी मस्जिद के डेमोलिशन के बाद इन 1993 देयर वाज अ लॉ पास बाय पार्लियामेंट कि हिस्टोरिकली जो भी ये वाद विवाद चल रहा था मंदिर मस्जिद के बीच में, कई जगहों पे चल रहा था, वो सब मतलब पुट एन एंड टू दैट, ताकि वो हिस्टोरिकल जो डिस्टॉर्शंस है, हिस्टोरिकल जो डिस्प्यूट्स है, उसको पब्लिक डोमेन में ना लेके आने के लिए, ताकि द सोशल फैब्रिक ऑफ इंडिया रिमेन्स इंटैक्ट, इसीलिए वो एक्ट पास किया गया। अभी तो बीजेपी के पास में तो मेजॉरिटी है, दोनों सदनों में मेजॉरिटी है। आज भी हमने देखा जो दिल्ली ऑर्डिनेंस बिल है, इट वाज पास्ड विद ओवरवेलमिंग मेजॉरिटी। तो ये बताइए, सो इंस्टेड ऑफ चेंजिंग द प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट, व्हाई आर यू गोइंग इंडिविजुअली हर एक जगह? अभी देखिए, अभी वाराणसी में ये सिचुएशन है, मथुरा में दूसरा डिस्प्यूट चल रहा है जो भी अदालत के सामने है। तो वन बाय वन यू आर ब्रिंगिंग ऑल ऑफ दीज केसेस, दीज हिस्टोरिकल डिस्प्यूट्स टू कोर्ट्स ऑफ लॉ, सर्कमवेंटिंग प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट। ये मुस्लिम पक्ष का आरोप है।
Well, I'm not a BJP spokesperson, and I cannot comment on what kind of law the parliament is bringing and what should be their sequence of priority to bring a legislation, change a law, or bring a legislation in that matter. However, I would like to, because I've been very patiently listening to this whole debate, and I've been a part of this whole process ever since for the last so many months whenever this Gyanvapi issue turns up. And I have heard from every, every sort of an angle putting on to the debate, putting on every controversy, saying that the government is not focusing on development, therefore the Hindu, Muslim and Mandir Masjid. And I have seen people going as far as and saying, because if you're finding that, the Hindu symbols, the Hindu artifacts, the Hindu motives are being found in that premises, it is because it was built by Akbar and it is a symbol of Deen-e-Ilahi. So all sorts of, and then there was a gentleman just saying that it is a vendetta and it has been a phenomena. Sir, let me get straight to the point. I'm speaking here as a Hindu. There was some gentleman in the panel who was said the masjid has been there for 600 years. If time for the duration for which a structure has been forms the basis of your claim on the right, and if a carbon dating of the so claimed Hindu structure is being done, we will outdate you in the history of existence. So that is absolutely not an argument to put forth. And as much as a right of a religious structure you have, so do I have. And when you say that the parliament had passed the law in 1993 of the Religious Places Act, this is not only a place of religious worship, it is also a historical building. It is a historical monument to which you are claiming that it is your masjid. And history is the evidence that Hindu temples were demolished by the invaders, and I have my civilizational right to claim my identity.
No, but
to claim
ma'am, how many such mosques are you going to claim? When Babri Masjid came to the fore, and the dispute came to the fore. No, once again.
Taken away from my community,
so then we are going to have, if there are 300, disputed structures across this country, then for the next 300 years, this is all we are going to be doing. We are going to be doing khudai of all these masjids which were supposedly built on top of mandirs.
If for 500 years I was being subject to, all that atrocities, taking away my identity, taking away my religious places, nobody talks about the duration I've been under this rule. I've been under this contempt.
No. So are you then suggesting that Mr. Rahmani and Mr.
I'm not suggesting
Once again. Are you suggesting that Mr. Rahmani, Mr. Shahid Ali should all be, paying penance for what people did 500, 600 years ago. मतलब ये क्या बात हुई है?
Why should
No,
I
no.
pay the
Point
penance?
is
Why
simple,
should you
ma'am.
want
One
me
second.
to
One
lose
second.
my
No,
civilizational
you're diverting.
identity?
You're
No.
diverting from the issue. The issue is very simple. Were there prayers allowed at that place till the early 1990s? Fact of the matter is yes, there were prayers allowed.
Yes.
No, 1 second. What was the original plea?
That's the legal argument
can you have some
yeah.
patience and listen to me 1 second? I heard you for 5 minutes.
I've been having the patience also.
No, 1 second, ma'am. Give me 5 minutes. The point is, the original plea of the 5 women petitioners was, we were allowed to offer daily prayers at this complex for many, many years till the 1990s. Now, why did it stop in the 1990s? It stopped because after Babri Masjid, the situation across the country had become so volatile that Parliament, not the government of that day, Parliament, which including BJP members and other members who were there in that Parliament, they passed this Places of Worship Act. Now, my simple contention is, if the issue is about offering worship, then what is the need to establish nature of the structure? मस्जिद के नीचे मंदिर था कि नहीं, वो वजू खाना है कि वो फाउंटेन है कि वो शिवलिंग है, उसकी कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. You want to offer prayers, go ahead and offer prayers. That should be the basis of the contention.
Yes.
The contention should be नहीं कि मतलब मेरे परदादाओं को इन्होंने मारा, therefore I have to seek civilizational rights. ये क्या बात हुई है? मतलब then तस्लीम रहमानी and Shahid Ali will only be doing penance for the next 500 years.
No.
मतलब देश ऐसे आगे बढ़ेगा. No, I'm sorry, Miss Bharti, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I heard you out patiently, and I'm just giving you a counter argument.
You are not allowing me to answer
But Tasleem Rahmani, I'll come back to you. One second, ma'am. One second. I moved on, please.
Not like
Tasleem
this.
Rahmani.
No, Jacob.
Tasleem
I
Rahmani.
have to respond to this,
Can we
Jacob.
move to Tasleem Rahmani, please? Tasleem Rahmani, the contention, and I think the Hindu side has a point. You allowed worship there for 40 years, 40 plus years, right? Nobody, even the Muslim side is not contending that. The Muslim side is not disputing that. There was worship. Then, because of a certain sequence of events, the worship stopped. Now, the country has moved on from the situation that it existed in 1993. Why don't we look at this as a fresh start and allow worship to happen there? I mean, after all, there are a number of places in India where you can see masjid and mandir right next to each other. Right? This has been part of Hindu culture. It has been part of tolerance. It is what they call this Ganga, Jamuna, Tehzeeb and so on. Why don't you allow worship? That is the basic contention, and on that point, the Hindu side is absolutely justified.
Yes.
But all this Khudai and archaeological survey and establishing nature of the structure, that is up to the courts to decide.
Let me reply, please.
Mr. Rahmani, yes.
Let me reply. When this argument started a few months back, my first contention and my first argument was that everybody knows, till 1993, our women folk were going there performing puja at the western wall of the mosque.
Yes.
And then it was abruptly stopped, and as you said. And it was Mulayam Singh Yadav government. I said, I always maintained, and till date I maintained, that it was a wrong decision. Even if the circumstances were not permitting, it was a law and order issue, whatever it was. The right of women to worship over there is intact. It was the duty of the government of the day to provide the security for those women to come over there and perform their puja on daily basis. And still I say, afterwards, there were two BJP government, Rajnath Singh he was there, and still it is the BJP government over there. Why didn't they allow the women without even asking? Why these 4 women is required to go to the court? No. By an administrative order, it can be allowed to the woman to go there and perform the puja.
Anilaji, you don't even need a bill. You just need an administrative order, a government order, a GO is what Tasleem Rahmani Sahab is saying. Why don't you do that? आपको ये पूरा मतलब परेशानी में फंसने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. लीगल कोर्ट कचेरी जो है. Anila Singh, yeah, let her respond.
All right, Zaka, I just want to make 2-3 points very quickly. Number one, you mentioned that in 1991, this bill was passed, Places of Worship Act, and Bharatiya Janata Party was there in Parliament. Bharatiya Janata Party had shown its protest and they had walked out. We were never ever in favor of this Places of Worship Act, number one. And number two, I just want to say one thing here, that whenever there is a case, it is about masjid constructed on mandir. आपने नहीं देखा होगा कि कोई गिरजाघर या चर्च या कोई गुरुद्वारा जो है वो मंदिर को तोड़कर उस पे बनाया गया हो. इट इज ऑलवेज अ मस्जिद. सो दिस टेल्स द स्टोरी. आई डू नॉट हैव टू एलॉबोरेट इट. सेकेंडली, आई जस्ट वांट टू से वन थिंग हियर, वेदर इट इज मिस्टर उस्मानी और
churches has been demolished.
All right, let me complete, sir. I did not interrupt you. This shows that you are rattled. You know it very well that ethically, morally, legally, you do not have any right. You do not have any right on Gyanvapi. That is why you are rattled and you keep on saying it is all because of BJP, it is all because of RSS. Let me tell you here, sir, that Hindus have got sentiment above Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS as well. Please respect that. Please respect that. And if we talk about Kashi, it is Kashi में बसते सदा शिव शंकर कैलाश, पाप कटकर सभी मिले हमें मोक्ष आकाश. यहाँ पर मोक्ष की प्राप्ति होती. काशी हमारे लिए वैसे, अगर ज्ञानवापी की बात करते हैं, जैसे शरीर में नाभि है वैसे ही काशी में ज्ञानवापी है. हमारे पुराण में, शिव पुराण में, लिंग पुराण में, स्कंद पुराण में इसका जिक्र आता है. ऋग्वेद में इसका जिक्र आता है. पौराणिक काल से वहां पर मंदिर है और आप कहते हैं कि सिद्ध करो, सिद्ध करो, सिद्ध करो. क्या सिद्ध करें?
Why 1984 all these things has started?
देख लीजिए.
Okay. Let me just pull back for 1 second. Let me just pull back for 1 second. Firangi Mehli साहब, I want to ask him my last question because he has to go after that. Mehli साहब, ये बताइए कि अब ऐसा भी हम सुन रहे हैं कि इस पूरे मामले में कुछ आवाजें आ रहे हैं मुस्लिम समुदाय से, मुस्लिम पक्ष से, जो कह रहे हैं कि मतलब जुडिशरी भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड है, जुडिशरी को भी वो टारगेट कर रहे हैं. तो मतलब जब अदालत का निर्णय आपके फेवर में जाएगा तब सब ठीक है, लेकिन जब वो खिलाफ जाएगा तो आप जुडिशरी को भी मतलब क्वेश्चन करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं होता ना, वो ये तो तरीका नहीं है.
नहीं, जुडिशरी पर सवाल खड़ा करने का कोई सवाल नहीं उठता. हम सबका पूरा एतमाद मुल्क के जुडिशियल सिस्टम पर है और हम लोगों को पूरी उम्मीद है कि जस्टिस सबके साथ किया जाएगा, हम लोगों के साथ भी किया जाएगा. और अगर जुडिशरी पर एतमाद और यकीन ना होता तो ज़ाहिर बात इतने सारे केसेस हम लोग कोर्ट्स में ना लड़ रहे होते हैं.
चतुर्वेदी साहब, ये जो कोर्ट ने आज कहा है, बड़े स्पष्ट तौर पे कहा है कि एक तो एक्सकवेशन नहीं होनी चाहिए, कोई डैमेज नहीं होनी चाहिए, जो वजूखाना एरिया है वहां पे कुछ सर्वे नहीं होगी, सिर्फ इतना ही होगा कि रेडियो इमेजरी हो सकती है, ग्राउंड पेनिट्रेटिंग रेडार्स हो सकती है, एंड मेजरमेंट एंड मैपिंग हो सकती है. क्या आपको लगता है कि ये जो 3 जो अलाउड है, इससे ये एस्टैब्लिश हो जाएगा कि वो नेचर ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स क्या था?
देखिए, सबसे बड़ी चीज आपको बता दें कि ये डैमेज न हो, ये हम लोगों ने जिला कोर्ट में भी ये हम लोगों का प्रेयर था. हम लोगों ने पक्ष रखा था कि उस परिसर को डैमेज नहीं किया जाएगा और माननीय कोर्ट जो जिला कोर्ट है वो अपने आदेश में इस चीज को इंडिकेट करे और माननीय जिला कोर्ट ने भी आदेशित किया है कि बिना डैमेज किए आप इस परिसर का जो है सर्वे करें. तो ये वजूखाना क्षेत्र जो छोड़ के जो 25 बाई 25 का वजूखाना है जिसमें शिवलिंग मिला है, उसके बाद 125 बाई 125 की जो परिधि है, उसके बाद जो बैरिकेटिंग का एरिया है, उस बैरिकेटिंग के एरिया में जो है तमाम हमारे साक्ष्य जो है उस भवन, वो जो परिसर है, जो मंदिर है, उसके नीचे भरे पड़े हैं. इसलिए ये संभव नहीं, पूरा विश्वास है कि सारे साक्ष्य जो है निकलकर बाहर आ जाएंगे. ये सर्वे में उनके पास तकनीकी है, टेक्नोलॉजी है. उन्होंने जो है शपथ पत्र भी न्यायालय को दिया, आश्वस्त किया है उच्च न्यायालय को कि बिना क्षतिग्रस्त किए, डैमेज किए हम उस परिसर का जो है सर्वे कर लेंगे. फिर आप क्यों घबरा रहे हैं? और न्यायालय पे आरोप की बात है कि न्यायालय पे भी उंगली उठाया जा रहा है. न्यायालय क्या कहेगी कि जो मंदिर का परिसर है, जो उसका नेचर जो मंदिर का है, उसको न्यायालय गलत जो है फैसला दे कि वो मस्जिद है.
Okay.
अरे पहले आने दीजिए, एसआई की रिपोर्ट आने दीजिए। आप एसआई की रिपोर्ट से भाग रहे हैं, आप जांच से क्यों भाग रहे हैं?
So Shahid Ali respond to that. ASI has given an affidavit in court. ASI has clearly said that that there will be no damage, there will be no excavatory equipment that will be used, and merely they will do mapping and measurement, radio imagery, and ground penetrating radar. These are the three things that they will use. So then why are you scared? ASI is the competent authority. They are the people who have the technical expertise to probe these things. Why are you afraid?
First of all, we are not scared. We respect law. We have been resorting to legal remedies available. Now I will tell you the other aspect. As they are saying that we have filed affidavit, we have given undertaking, and the court has ordered so. Please remember and recall the incident of Babri Masjid Mosque. The then Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh filed an affidavit before the Honorable Supreme Court saying that we will protect the mosque. Whether the mosque was protected? No! Despite the orders of Honorable Supreme Court, despite the affidavit filed by then Chief Minister, masjid was destroyed. Masjid was demolished. The contemners ought to have been punished. Unfortunately, could not be punished. The masjid ought to have been restored to its original position. That could not be done.
Shahid Ali, I don't think that's an accurate comparison. No, I'm sorry. That's not an accurate comparison because one second.
They are the people.
The damage that happened to the Babri Masjid structure was the result of a political problem which then became a law and order issue. Here the Archaeological Survey is giving a sworn affidavit to a court of law saying we will not damage the property. I don't think you can compare both.
The election is coming, sir. Sir, again the election is coming. We are bound to compare, sir. We are bound to compare. The past is crying out.
How can you compare a violence that happened with an Archaeological Survey, which is a government body of technical experts who's given a sworn affidavit to a court of law? ये तो comparison बनती ही नहीं है.
Sir, please remember that day only when the survey was started on the orders of Learned District Court. What the survey team had done, whether they completely obeyed the order of Honorable Court? No. They violated that.
No. How do you know that?
Now,
how do you know that? What did they violate?
When Honorable Supreme Court intervened into that could have been stopped. Otherwise, they would have demolished the mosque on that day.
No. How do you know that? How do you know that? No. I'm sorry. You're making allegations out of thin air.
That is.
How do you know that they would have demolished the structure?
That is in the public domain, sir.
What is there in the public domain?
That is in the public domain, sir.
What damage? Do you have proof of any photographs or video of damage?
They went there with kulhadi and all kind of this instruments.
The ASI which are used in a sworn affidavit has told the court of law that they will not damage the property. In fact, that's one of the conditions laid down by the court. You cannot have any physical damage to the property.
Even the Kalyan Singh has submitted this.
Again, Mr. Rahmani, wrong comparison. I don't think a law and order violence situation can be compared to a government agency. But anyway, I have to wrap up. I will give Sadhvi Jayabharati the final word. I have limited time. But again, I keep coming back to this question. Two points. One, the Muslim side is saying this is a way of opening all the so-called disputed things that have happened in the past from 400, 500, 600 years ago. And if you're going to be doing this, the country will have no time to develop and move forward. We will only be settling historic questions. That's number one. Number two, you're going away from the basic contention of the people who petitioned the court, which was allow worship as it existed till 1993. That is not what is happening right now. These are the two contentions.
Well, coming to your questions, this gentleman, Mr. Chaturvedi, has explained that yes, while we demand the right to worship in the Shringar Gauri temple, the main sanctum sanctorum where the Shringar Gauri is not there. So we need to establish where exactly the location is, the spot is, where the Shingar Gauri is established, where the prayers have to be offered. So even it has to be established, so the survey. Because a lot of things have been closed, and later on doors have been built. So the survey. Another thing, when you say, the BJP spokesperson has just said that whenever there is a question, it is always a mosque built on a temple. It is always a temple has been destroyed and a mosque has been built. At least those actually who are the very center of our faiths, they should be at least restored to their original form, if not all. That much respect I deserve in this country. At least Kashi Vishwanath and Krishna Janam Bhoomi. You cannot just deny that, a lot of my core faith institution buildings have been taken away to me. Now somebody said for last 600 years musalsal namaz chal rahi hai. If your namaz for 600 years is so important for you, so my 1,000 years of identity doesn't go for a toss.
Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's see. Like I said, the Muslim side has now moved the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has scheduled this matter for tomorrow. Whether the court will give the go-ahead to the Allahabad High Court order ordering the survey of the ASI at that Gyanvapi complex, we'll wait and see. But for now, I want to thank all our guests. I hope in the interim, peace and harmony is maintained and people will wait for the results of this scientific survey by the Archaeological Survey, which has been commissioned under very, very stringent conditions laid down in today's Allahabad High Court order.